The stock market is at records high. AI stocks are soaring and investors are celebrating. Trump just announced that the deal with Iran is largely negotiated and the Strait of Hormuz will reopen. But I've heard that multiple times. When Donald Trump announces on Truth Social that we're very close to a deal, but then the next day Iran rejects that deal. In this video, I will show you why a deal between the United States and Iran is structurally impossible, and this war cannot possibly end unless there is going to be a clear winner. This crisis is not just another threat. It is literally a setup for one of the largest wealth transformations. The question is that, are you ready for this wealth transformation? Have you positioned yourself to capitalize on this opportunity? Do you know which stocks you should be buying to profit from this wealth transfer? The market is soaring because investors are making two strategic bets. Earnings from companies such as Nvidia, Apple, and Google are going to soar due to AI. And AI is extremely promising since it's basically automating everything. And in 10 or 15 years from now, the world is going to look entirely differently. The companies capitalizing on AI today will control the world. It's like the companies who benefited from the dot-com bubble to invested massively in the internet back in 1990s. So investors understand the potential of AI because a lot of investors missed the opportunity with the internet back in 1990s. The second bet investors are making is the deal with Iran, that energy will go back to normal. When Iran is going to open the Strait of Hormuz, there is going to be an inflow of energy into the market, so energy prices will come down, especially after the United States has lifted the oil sanctions from Russia. On one side, you have the Russian oil. On the other side, you have the Middle Eastern oil. All that oil will bring down energy prices. And these two assumptions are driving stock prices right now. But here's the problem. What if these assumptions are wrong? What if everything doesn't go the way that investors are planning? Think about it this way. When you get into real estate, you're assuming that you will get a mortgage, buy a house, and you will rent it out, and then you can relax and receive your rental income. But what happens in reality is that when you get your mortgage, suddenly there are hidden fees. When you buy the house, you realize that there are things that you have to fix. When you rent that house, suddenly there is a water leakage. Something must be fixed in the house. And over time, you realize that you're not going to make any profit and you have to wait for 5 to 7 years until rent prices will rise so that you finally start making off money. So investors are pricing companies such as Google and Nvidia right now as if they are already going to make so much money because everything is going to be perfect in the long run. But let's be honest, that rarely happens. Here's why the deal between Iran and the US is a bluff. Trump keeps saying that we're close to a deal. This deal is impossible because what the United States is demanding is opposite of what Iran is demanding. Iran is demanding that Iran will control the strait and Iran will charge the tolls over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran made that clear. There is not going to be a deal until the United States will recognize Iran's control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran won compensation for the losses due to this war. The United States attacked the top leadership. The United States assassinated the religious supreme leader of Iran. Iran suffered massive losses when the United States attacked its basic infrastructure. Iran is not going to accept any deal until the United States will pay back for all the damages. And thirdly, Iran wants to lift the sanctions. Iran has been under the US sanctions for the last 50 years, and Iran's economy is not going to survive unless the United States will lift those sanctions. Iran is very serious about their demands. But if you look at the US demands, the US wants a total surrender of Iran to the US. Without making Iran pro the US, the United States will not actually have a strong position in the Middle East. Because if you have Iran as an ally of the United States, suddenly the United States is checkmating Russia and China. China's Belt and Road Initiative is no longer going to work because now Iran is a pro-American country. Secondly, United States is not ready to pay any kind of compensation. If the US will pay even a single dollar in compensation to Iran, that is going to signal that the United States have lost this war. Why did you start the war only to pay back for all the damages that you have made? So Donald Trump is not going to accept such a deal. And thirdly, the United States must win this war decisively because the entire reputation of the US military is on the line. If a deal is impossible, why both sides are negotiating? Both sides need to buy time. The United States is running out of advanced missiles. In the first month of the war, the US military depleted some some of their most advanced missiles. If this war continued for another 3 months, by today the United States would not have a single advanced missile. And that's not the position the US wants to find itself in. At the same time, the United States was not ready to deploy troops into the Middle East. Since the United States was not in a position to keep firing those advanced missiles, the only thing that is left in front of you is to start negotiating until you're forcing the military-industrial complex back in your home country to start building these advanced missiles. The United States is trying to restructure the global oil market. If the United States can even properly make sure that the world is running on oil, then who do you think is going to trust the United States? That's why you see Marco Rubio flying to India and convincing the Indian leaders to start buying oil from the United States. That's why you see the United States lifting sanctions out of Russia. That's why you see the United States trying to push Venezuela to start massively producing oil, because that Venezuelan oil is now under the control of the United States. Iran is also in the exact same position because Iran was devastated by this war and Iran needs to regroup. If nobody is bombing you, it's easier for your leaders to come together and start planning your next phase. But when you're constantly under the bombardment of the United States, it's difficult for you to communicate. Iran wants to use the economic pressure. The longer the strait is closed, the more pressure there is on the United States. So why do we have to fight? Why do we have to shoot missiles? Why do we have to be under constant attack? As long as the Strait of Hormuz is closed and oil prices are high, there is going to be international pressure on the United States, and they want to use that. At the same time, Iran also wants to win this war diplomatically, because if Iran is going to win the information war against the United States, there is going to be massive pressure on the US in order to back up. The United States is basically trapped. The United States cannot possibly now walk away from this war. Ideally, Donald Trump is ready to make a deal. Donald Trump is even ready to go back to the status quo that was before the war. But that status quo is not coming back because you've actually started the war. But the United States is not in a position to accept any kind of a deal unless that deal is on the US terms, or at least most important terms. First of all, the US will not be paying any kind of compensations. Secondly, Iran should not actually charge anything for the Strait of Hormuz. United States started the war, so it must be on the US terms. The world is watching what exactly the United States is doing. So if the US would simply abandon Iran, that is going to create a power vacuum. Suddenly you see China getting into the Middle East and restoring order there. And if China is going to create such status quo, then that will kick away the United States military out of the entire Middle East, and the US will lose the entire Middle East. That's not something that the US is very happy to accept. But the energy shock is getting worse day by day. Oil prices are still fluctuating at about $100. Even Russian oil is also trading at about $100 since the United States has lifted the sanctions out of Russia. There are so many nations across the world right now are literally running out of oil, especially Southeastern Asian countries. Wealthier countries such as Canada, the US, the European countries. The United States is the largest oil producer, but the European Union, even though they don't have much oil, European countries are very wealthy. So they are in a position to buy oil if they want to. The same thing you can actually say about China, Japan. There are so many nations in Asian countries, in Latin American countries that don't have much oil. So they are starving. And if there is going to be any escalation between the United States and Iran, it is going to lead oil prices to cross $200. At $200, even countries such as Japan, European nations will start to suffer. Even the United States, as the world's largest oil producer, will see a massive increase in oil prices. But it's not just about the energy problem. That energy problem is going to crack the bond market, because the bond market is already cracking. The two world's largest markets are the bond market. This is when you're loaning money. The largest borrower in the global economy is the US government. The US government has borrowed almost $40 trillion. The second largest market is the stock market. This is when you're investing in Nvidia, Google, Apple. Most investors make their money. Ideally, you can make a lot more money in the stock market because these are businesses, and you can actually make much money in the bond market. But since a bond is basically a debt, you're guaranteed to make your money back. And when you're loaning your capital to the US government, you're guaranteed to make that money back. But here's the question: what is going to be the yield on that debt? Because the US treasuries are considered the safest investments, you can't expect the US government to pay you 10% or 15%. When you're loaning your money to a friend that doesn't actually have a good job, that is barely paying his bills, that is financially struggling, you can easily charge your friend 20 or 30% because the risk of him defaulting on that debt is extremely high. Whenever there is any kind of global instability, investors will start dumping their stocks and they will start buying the US treasuries. When that happens, the yields on the US treasuries will instantly go down. That's exactly what happened in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the war. war. But what we see right now is that the yields on the US Treasuries are spiking. They're putting the investors in a very strange position. If the yields are rising while we are negotiating a peace settlement with Iran, what do you think is going to happen when the war is going to restart? Suddenly, there is going to be an outflow of the bond market and you will see very high yields. Now, the question is, how is that going to impact the stock market? How the stock market is going to react when negotiations are going to break and the war is going to restart? If you look at the top 10 largest companies in the S&P 500, they represent about 40% of the market. And all of them are either tech companies or AI companies. And the way we value any stock is based on how much money that company is going to make in the future. So the question comes back is that what is the value of that future money if the circumstances today change? If the war is going to start and that is going to lead to high energy prices and it's also going to lead to high inflation, because high energy prices instantly means higher inflation, suddenly the yields are going to spike on the US Treasuries. Future profits are going to worth a lot less, which means that on paper, all of these AI and tech companies will lose a lot of their valuation. So if something like that is going to happen, you will instantly see that the stock prices should actually adjust and you will see investors in Wall Street will start rebalancing their portfolio and will start selling their stocks. But there are right now two major paradoxes in the market. The first paradox is that massive AI growth can only happen when there is a lot of energy. You probably heard that these data centers are consuming so much energy. You probably heard the news that some of these tech companies are starting to build their own nuclear reactors to build their own energy. But because the Strait of Hormuz is not going to open anytime soon, since negotiations between these two countries are impossible, the question is that how will we be able to continue funding AI if there is a shortage of energy in the market, when we have entire nations right now are starving because they don't have access to oil and gas? So it makes no sense for AI companies to continue rising when there is an energy crisis, and that energy crisis is not going to stop anytime soon. The second paradox is that there is something strange is happening. The bond market and the stock market have an inverse relationship. Whenever there is instability in the global economy, investors basically sell their stocks and they start buying US Treasuries, and the yields on the US Treasuries go down. Whenever there is peace and stability, investors will start dumping their bonds and they will start buying stocks because stocks make a lot more money. And when there is peace in the world, businesses tend to make a lot more money. Because the US debt has reached a point of unsustainable growth and the US military is not in a position that it can reopen the Strait of Hormuz, that is raising so many questions among investors. Are the US Treasuries still the safe havens? Should we sell our US bonds? Should we start selling stocks to buy bonds? The numbers tell us by looking at the rising yields, you can jump to the conclusion that investors no longer view the US Treasuries as the safest investments in the market. So that is making stocks and bonds a toxic investment in this kind of environment. And here's the problem. Because most people don't understand the financial markets, don't understand what exactly is happening and how these events are affecting the market, what do you think most people will do? They will buy these stocks when they're high. Whenever this crisis will start, they will start selling their stocks when the stock market will be collapsing, just like it happened in 2020, 2022, 2008. But what you need to understand is any crisis is always a wealth transfer, no matter how big that crisis is. Wealth is actually rarely destroyed. It always moves from one group of people into another. Even if you go back to World War II, a lot of wealth was destroyed in Europe, but most of that wealth was moved from the European countries to the United States, which made the United States the world's largest and the most powerful economy in history. Even though that restarting the war is going to lead to a massive stock market crash like it did in March of this year, it doesn't mean that these stocks will become worthless. It doesn't mean that these businesses will become worthless. And as long as you know how to find valuations, as long as you understand how to analyze the market, you will be able to spot these opportunities. The true opportunity is when there is a gap between what most investors are doing in the market, especially the retail investors, and what actually is happening. And that gap is a knowledge gap, a gap between what the market believes is going to happen and what will actually happen based on evidence. So if you want to know which stocks you have to buy right now to be on the right side of this wealth transfer, my team is running 101 investing strategy session. We'll sit down with you, we'll look at your exact situation, we will map out where the opportunities are in the market and build an investing strategy tailored to you. The first 50 people who use the link in the description of this video will get that strategy session for free. The link is in the description.